Hi, my name's Andrew. Thanks for joining us for another Maribyrnong Home Coders for Maribyrnong Libraries. Today we're going to create a project where you can click on buttons and create sounds, and we're also going to have this cool little astronaut kind of floating through, going to different environments. You'll find the full finished project in Maribyrnong Home Coders, our Scratch studio, but I'm going to show you how to do the code from scratch, for want of a better term, today. So we're going to start by creating this little title here, because it's kind of cool to have a little bit of a title. So we've called this one a teleporting adventure. Where am I now? So the idea is that this little sprite, Harper, is floating around and being transported by anyone who's using the project to different places, and you can make them as crazy as you like. So we might not do exactly the same as the project that's already in Home Coders, but we're going to have fun getting there. So let's start by making this little title appear. Now we want everything to start when the green flag is clicked, so let's go to Events and drag over our When Green Flag Clicked code here. And I always like to have a bit of a sound when something appears, so I'm going to start the sound pop. I don't know what pop sounds like. Let's have a listen. Yep, I like that one. That seems like a good sound. And then we want it to appear, so let's drag across the code sound. And how long do we want it to appear? Maybe, let's say 2 seconds. We don't want it to be too long because we want to get into doing our little interactive game thing. And then after that 2 seconds, we want it to hide, because we don't want that teleporting adventure, where am I now, to appear there through the whole thing. That would be kind of annoying. And we've got that bit of code in, and we pretty much want to do the same thing for our other one. Now I'm going to show you a little trick if you don't know this already. If you want to have exactly the same code in another sprite, you can drag it over to the other sprites, and when the little, I'll do that again, when the one that you want kind of wiggles, I hope you saw it then, I'll do it one more time just so that you can see sprite 2 when it wiggles. Yep, there we go. When it wiggles, it means that that's the one you're dragging it into. So if I click on sprite 2, we've got the same code there. We probably don't want that sound there though. I'm going to drag that out, because we've already got our other sprite playing the sound. So let's click on the green flag and see if this has worked. Yep, we had our pop, it showed up for 2 seconds, then it's disappeared. That's great. Now we can concentrate on everything else that we want to happen in the project. So what about Harper? Because we don't want Harper just standing there looking kind of bored. We want Harper to kind of do something. And it's kind of more fun if you've got a character in a project rather than just pressing buttons and changing the backgrounds. So let's start with, we'll click on Harper first, that's a good idea. Let's start with the When Green Flag Clicked, and I reckon we might want to make Harper a little bit smaller when she starts her little adventure. So let's set her size to 100%. What? Ah, no, I reckon when I created this I made it 60%. Let's try that again. Yeah, let's set the size to 60%. Even better. So now we want her to always go back to this position whenever the project starts, because if we get her floating around and she goes to a different spot, whenever we press stop, she's going to kind of end up, over here or over there. and it won't look neat at the beginning each time. So we've got to make the code remember, or make the project remember where she's meant to be. So let's click on motion and let's set her spot and her position. So we want to go to, and we've got our position here already. It defaults to having the position that the sprite is at the time that you're looking at this code. And we also want her to point in a direction which is 90 degrees, and it happens to be exactly where she is now. So that means if she moves around, so say if we move her here, if we click that green flag, she pops back right to where she should be. And let's pop this 60% there. And now how about we wait 2 seconds or so before she does anything after the green flag is clicked, because we want her to not move until that text disappears. Let's make it 2.5 seconds. Let's give her just an extra half a second of sitting there before she starts moving. Now, what do we want her to do? We probably want her to sort of float around, and we might want her to go a little bit smaller again, I think. So maybe we'll change her size by, let's make her 20% smaller. So let's do minus 20. Let's see how that works. Oh yep, so she's gotten smaller. So now if she floats around, she looks more like she's having an adventure. Now I reckon we want her to go to a random spot, and we also want her to bounce if she gets to the edge, because we don't want her to float off the screen. That would be kind of annoying. So let's go into motion and glide. So let's bring that over, and we probably want her to glide for a random amount of time, because that means that she'll go faster or slower. So let's go to operators, and we can choose this pick random thing. So we can make it 1 second, which is really fast, or 10 seconds, which means she'll just leisurely float around. And now we'll go back to motion and find that bounce bit of code. So if on edge, bounce. And we probably want her to keep doing this over and over again. Let's give it a go though. Okay, now she's floating. Yep. Yep, we need to put in the forever bit of code. So we're going to wrap this around the blue motion bits of code, so that this part where she's gliding around to a random position and bouncing on the edge happens again and again and again. Let's just click the green flag to see what it looks like. So we're back to the start. She's floating around. She's floating very slowly. This must be the 10-second one. Yep. Oh, and she's floating to another random position. So it looks like the forever code is working. Yeah, there she goes. Yeah, that's looking good. Now we want to send her to some different places, because she's just floating in space, which is not, it's not terrible, but it's not as interesting as it could be. So we're going to use these coloured balls as buttons, and those are just default sprites that you find over in this sprite menu here. So the code we're going to use is when the sprite is clicked, we're going to switch the background to something. So we need to choose a bunch of backgrounds. We've got 5 of these little buttons, so we want to choose 5 wacky backgrounds. So where could we send her? Where could Harper go? Harper could go to a canyon. Yeah, that's pretty crazy. Ooh, she could end up really tiny, floating amongst some flowers. Yep, that's a pretty good one. A park bench. Yep. And where are we? We could... Oh, let's send her to the jungle. Let's maybe choose one or two more, just so we've got some options. And let's choose this weird computery thing. Alright, so now we've got things to choose. So now we can switch the backdrop. So we go to looks, and we want switch backdrop to... Which one did we want to do? Let's go to the canyon. And then it's always fun to add a sound. Let's click on sounds. And how about this boing? Let's see what this boing is. Yep. That's pretty good. Let's add that sound. Start sound. Not pop. But boing. Let's just click on that. Well, she's gliding around. Let's click there. Yep, that works. Oh, and then we click stop. Hey, she's stuck in the canyon. You know what we should do? Yep, we should add a bit of code so that when we press the green flag, it always goes back to that star background that we had. So we want, when the green flag clicked, switch backdrop to neon tunnel. I think it was stars. Let's just make sure it's stars. Yep, there we go. So she's floating around. We've changed it to canyon. Now we just need to add the other buttons. So let's click on the blue one now, which is the... Actually, let's click on the pink one. I don't know why the pink one isn't next on our list down here. So we want to bring in the code when this sprite clicked. We want to switch the background to... Let's go with flowers. And we need a sound for that too. What's this pew one? Let's try that. Yep, let's just use that. So we'll go into sound and start sound pew. Let's click on the green flag. Yeah. Just moving around. Yep. Pretty good. That's looking really good. Now, what should we do? I know, let's have a bit of a shortcut. Remember we did that trick before where we dragged some code? We're pretty much doing the same code for all of these buttons, so we could take a shortcut and drag this over to the blue ball, which is over there, and then we'll click on it and see if the code brought over. Yep. So now we can just change these. So we can change from flowers to city with water, and we can change the sound. Let's go into sounds and we'll pick something from the sound menu. We'll go to effects, because we just want something really quick. What do we got? A powerful one? Nah. That's too long. Yep, let's go with that one. So we're going to go to the city with water and have the sound bonk. I think it was bonk. Yep, it was bonk. And we can then copy this code to the green one. So we'll drag it over to the green ball at the bottom there. And then we'll click on the green ball and see if it works. Oh, I mustn't have done it properly. Let's try that again. Down it goes. Let's see if that worked. No! Oh well, let's just do it from scratch. It'll give us a bit of practice. Because it's right down the bottom of the desktop. It's having some problems on my trusty old laptop, but that's alright. So we want when sprite clicked. Go to looks, and we want to change the backdrop to, what should we choose this time? Let's choose forest. And now let's pick a sound. Go into sounds, squeaky toy. Let's see what that's like. Yep, that's short and it's kind of crazy. So we want to start sound squeaky toy. And we need one last one. So let's click on this purple one. We'll go into events. When the sprite clicked, we want it to switch the backdrop. And this one will switch to Jurassic. I can't remember what that one was. That's alright. And let's pick a sound. Do we have a sound in here already? Whiz? Yep, let's go with that. Let's start sound whiz. Let's press the green flag. Nice. Let's try all our buttons. Cool, that all works. But when the button sounds aren't playing, it's a little bit kind of quiet. So maybe we should add some sort of sound playing underneath it. We could add some music, or we could add just some sort of sound of something happening in the background. So let's go to events. When the green flag is clicked, we want it to play some sort of music. Let's go into sounds and choose the sound. And the best place to choose music and things like that in here is from loops. So let's choose some stuff. What do you reckon would be good? Let's try classical. Nah, too classical. What about dance space? Yeah, maybe. What about drum satellite? I could try that. And if that loops, I think that would be fun. Let's go back into code and sound, and let's play drum satellite until done, because we want it to play the whole thing. And then we want it to just keep looping, so we'll put it on this forever loop. Let's see how it goes. Yeah, so that kind of works. So that is how this project is created if you want to start from the very, very beginning. As I said, we also have the project Teleport, which is in Maribyrnong Home Coders, and I might even just put this one up as well, just so that you can play with the project that we created today for this video. So I hope you had lots of fun today, and thanks for joining us again for another Maribyrnong Home Coders. My name's Andrew from Maribyrnong Libraries. Bye for now.